966.
Michael Ratney is President Biden's pick to be the new U.S. ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Ratney, a 61-year-old career veteran diplomat, currently serving as the acting deputy director of the State Department's Foreign Service Institute. He was recently chargé d'affaires at the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem. Previously served as a deputy chief of mission at the U.S. Embassy in Qatar. What do we know about him? He's got a BS in mass communication from Boston University and an MA in international affairs from GW. The post has been vacant, Richard, since John Abizaid left in January 2021. He was President Trump's appointee. Historically, but not always, U.S. ambassadors to Saudi Arabia have been political appointees with deep military ties, like General Abizaid. Ratney is the first foreign service officer to be in line for the post since, Richard, your previous boss and friend, Charles Freeman, in 1989. Ratney is not in the military or security space, but he was on the faculty of the National Defense University. So I wonder if David Desroches knows him very well. There's a piece out right now, Richard, in the rarely even-keeled Business Insider on the appointment that is attempting, it would seem, to sort of stoke the much ballyhooed rocky state of U.S.-Saudi relations these days, featuring a quote from a Trump appointee, David Schenker, saying that the decision may be insulting to Saudis. That sounds pretty ridiculous to me. I doubt it. It is, frankly, fairly irresponsible for Business Insider to write the headline this way. As I mentioned, the last foreign service officer to be in the line for the post was Charles Freeman. And, there's no such thing as an ambassador appointment that is meant as an insult. This isn't the appointment of a prominent human rights activist or a prominent critic of Saudi Arabia. This person, Michael Ratner, is a diplomat's diplomat, a careerist in this space, fluent in Arabic and French. He's not the usual appointment, but these are unusual times. And I mentioned Charles Freeman, as the last sort of diplomat to get the post. Richard, you know who literally wrote the definition on the word diplomacy for the Encyclopedia Britannica? Charles Freeman did, right? Which is crazy. Diplomacy, he wrote, is, quote, the established method of influencing the decisions and behavior of foreign governments and peoples through dialogue, negotiation, and other measures short of war or violence. So just to sort of wrap this up, I think it's way too early to say that this is a poor decision by President Biden or that Ratner is set to fail. The U.S. and Saudi Arabia are longtime allies. This is a fact. The drama du jour puts strain on that fact, but it does not fundamentally change it. Watch the 966 long enough and you'll realize that the roots of the U.S.-Saudi relationship run way too deep in many directions. And much of that drama, I believe, and I think you believe as well, Richard, too, but I'll let you jump in here, can be fixed with communication, the type of work that an ambassador, and not just an ambassador, but his team of colleagues and connections on the ground can achieve. So it won't be an easy confirmation hearing for Mr. Ratner in the Senate, but if he is approved, I think this is a good thing, and I think this helps the U.S.-Saudi relationship.
This has always been. First of all, I want to take a minute to acknowledge Ambassador Charles Freeman, who I got to work with when I was executive director of the Middle East Policy Council for close to 8 years, and what a treat! Holy mackerel! This guy, as bright as anybody I know, as well-rounded, an enormously capable diplomat, but also extremely effective and astute businessman. And a bon vivant. He loved life. He loves life. He's still doing great and speaking and adding his knowledge to the conversation. And is a really esteemed. It should be an esteemed voice in terms of diplomacy and policy across the board. An interesting point. When he was ambassador, this was during the first Gulf War, all the U.S. troops came in under the auspices of the embassy. So he holds the record for having the largest embassy ever. There's something like 450,000 embassy members of American troops. So, and I don't know if that number is right, but it's I think it may be short. I think there may be more. But talk about a really special individual. Saudis, absolutely. And it's not specific to the Saudis. They always like friends of the president. Somehow they think, they think it gives them more access. It gives them a better voice. They have the ear of the president. And I will say, the political appointees that have come subsequent to Ambassador Freeman, they've been capable. I mean, sometimes you get political appointees that are hacks and just really not appropriate for the job. That has not been the case with Saudi Arabia. I think that David Schenker comments in the Business Insider were premature, and I'm not sure that it's accurate. I think what the Saudis probably are insulted by is if you do the math, that since January 2017 to now, which is just over 60 months, the U.S. has had an ambassador in Riyadh for about 18 months. That's John Abizaid, capable diplomat. That's about 30% of the time. That's just neglect.
Yeah, that's such a great point.
And if you look at it from the flip side, going back to 83, roughly concurrent with Ambassador Freeman, maybe a little earlier with Bandar bin Sultan, that series of ambassadors, Bandar bin Sultan, Turki bin Faisal, who, by the way, we did a great segment on his piece in the Arab News, Adel al-Jubair, Abdullah bin Faisal bin Turki al Saud, Khalid bin Salman al Saud, Rima bint Bandar al Saud. So that's, a 40-year stretch, never more than 3 months between appointees. So that seat was never vacant for more than 3 months. And look at the people they're sending, this Khalid bin Salman, son of the king, Rima bin Bandar, highly, really well-known royal who's daughter of a previous ambassador, Bandar bin Sultan, who was himself, a son of one of the Sudari Seven, Turki al Faisal, which we've talked about. He's an extraordinary individual. Adel al-Jubair, who's now Minister of State for Foreign Affairs in Saudi Arabia. So I think you put it nicely. The drama du jour. Everyone's looking for a reason to say how bad things are. Mm-hmm. And by the way, this is not to run down Martina Strong, who's a chargé d'affaires in Saudi Arabia, and she'll tell you it has nothing to do with her personally. It has to do with what kind of attention you're going to give to the relationship. So this is overdue, mm-hmm. And I think I'm sure he'll be very capable. I don't know if he'll get the cold shoulder, but it'll be better than what we have in terms of the communication and a means of communication.
I think we're both in the same sort of mindset about things, and that is to sort of look on the positive, see the upside. What are the possibilities here? And actually the Business Insider has a quote also from Aaron David Miller, who says, quote, "If anyone can navigate the mess that is U.S.-Saudi ties, it's Ratney. He'll at least provide an honest assessment of how or how not U.S.-Saudi interests and values align. What Biden does is another matter," he says. Maybe the relationship has gone beyond, and it's hard to say. I mean, who knows? But maybe it has sort of graduated a little bit as Vision 2030 matures, gone beyond just the oil for security paradigm that we've been talking about and have been living under for so long. And perhaps it isn't a bad thing that the ambassador to Saudi Arabia isn't a political appointee that is in the that has a long military history. Maybe it is helpful that he or she is an ambassador with deep diplomatic experience, and maybe this is a great appointment. So it's just way too, like you said, it's way too early to say. And he's a very capable guy.
Yeah, and it's not all been military guys. I mean, you have mm-hmm. Weitz Fowler, Bob Jordan, Ford Fraker. All these guys did, were not military guys, and they went over and represented the country well and enhanced the relationship as best they could. I don't think we've talked a lot about how we feel like we need to update our approach to Saudi Arabia, and that much of what we're doing is reactionary and outdated. I don't think everyone characterizes this as a crisis, and I think that's fair enough. I think it's more of a reckoning. Mm-hmm. And hopefully it's used as an opportunity to catch up and realign and reconfigure and recalibrate into a more healthy means of communication, a more healthy set of expectations for each other. I know on the U.S. side, they're scrambling to be responsive and find a way to be sensitive, and sensitive the wrong term, but to respond to the concerns of the Gulf states, not just Saudi Arabia. But it may take some time, and there's going to be some fumbling, but it's much easier done with an ambassador on seat. And by the way, there's no ambassador, U.S. ambassador in UAE as of January 2021. So we need to get one there too.
One thing that this article sort of makes clear, and I do definitely agree with you, mentioned this a little bit earlier, the post of Saudi ambassador to the United States is the most prominent, foreign ministry post you can get other than foreign minister, in my opinion. I mean, that may not be true, but it's definitely a very prominent position. Princess Rima bint Bandar is incredibly capable and doing a really, really great job. She's a wonderful spokesperson. She is just like a very talented, great ambassador, and is doing a really great job at a very difficult job. So, that to find her counterpart, as it were, even though that's not really how it works, is, I guess that you could look into that and say, well, what's her equivalent here? Who's the biggest superstar that Biden could appoint? I mean, this is just theoretical, but who would Saudi Arabia want? Like, if Saudi Arabia could choose the ambassador, I mean, it's not how it works again, but
Well, that's a good point, because there is no equivalent to someone like Rima bin Bandar or Khalid bin Sultan. I mean, unless
Hunter Biden.
Well, that came to mind, and I immediately ran from it. But you jump into the breach. No, but there you go. That's why there is no equivalent. And I don't know, there's been obviously a lot to do about the relationship that Mohammed bin Salman has with Jared Kushner during the Trump presidency. And you can argue one way or another whether that's the best way to run foreign diplomacy. And to be honest, and I'd say that not only from the American side, I think it's also from the Saudi side. I think you get yourself into trouble. Saudis have run into real issues with their close alignment with Trump, and the nature of U.S. domestic politics of basically conflating now Trump with the Saudis and attacking the Saudis as a sort of a stalking horse for Trump, which happens all the time now, and certainly happened during the election season. I just think in general, a foreign country, if you're interested in a good relationship with the U.S., shouldn't pick sides.
Agreed. Good stuff. Well, good luck to Mr. Ratney.
Good luck, yes, and welcome to Riyadh. I mean, he really needs to. It's long overdue, and I think he'll have a lot to do. What a great post! I think it'd be fascinating if you're a serious foreign service officer. What a great post at a difficult time. You want to come in and make your mark.